All
All
right,
right, I
let
got
me
next
let me run
one.
through my checks real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So let me pull it up on here. We're gonna probably start at 7:35 at the latest.
That's fine.
But you know, the way I look at this show, it should move fairly quickly.
Yeah,
Being on Eddie's show this week was pretty fun.
yeah, I've seen that.
That should be uploaded tonight from him. I told you he wants to come on for Darlington,
Yeah.
which that'll be a fun one.
Of course. Where did my phone charger?
Talked to Tony when I was on my way home tonight.
Oh, what's up with him?
We were talking about the Call of Duty release.
It looks like the same. Like, why the hell did they already made it?
Some are saying it's the fourth installment. Some are saying it's a remake of the first. I don't know which one to believe.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, we're definitely getting a later start this time because I am still getting everything set up here. Yeah, I completely forgot about the show sheet. Completely forgot. I was just gonna go off of memory.
They could not get into Comic Con that quick.
I've never been to Comic Con, so I couldn't tell you.
We used to go, or we've gone quite a bit, so.
All right, so we're at PJ's house this Saturday for Game 3. Check, check. All right, let me just do a test run real quick.
If
I bleed tonight, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lugs Podcast. I'm your host. Check 1 2, check 1 2. All right, good to go.
All right.
Let me mute that. Mute this. I gotta still share it on social medias and all that.
Yep.
There we go. Messenger. Oh, pow. Pow. Pow, pow. I'll send it to Eddie. Fuck it. He can have it too. Normally on my messengers, I haven't had Eddie on Facebook, and he popped up on my recent,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I'll send it to him too. Zach Patrick, Polish, Steve C, and Brandon. Share it to Facebook.
Oh, there's the message from AJ. That makes sure I'm on. Oh.
Share that. I might be spot on with that 7:35 start. Do you have to use the bathroom or get a drink or anything?
No, it should be all right. Hey, let me blow my nose real quick, all right?
All right.
That's what you want. We're gonna go live. right, cool. Hey, I got some pictures I'm gonna send your way, and then you can probably upload them in some video to the Twitter page
Okay.
from the dirt track this past weekend. Who the hell do I want to pick in the cup? I don't know who I'll pick.
Well, that wouldn't have been good.
What's that?
I replaced the K in Coke with an M, so on my hashtag Coke 600, it changed it to something else.
Oh, that's not good. You can see me pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I see you perfectly fine.
Good. Yeah, because I got my little box in the corner there. It's like, hey, look at me,
Your little backs.
my little box, and then I see the podcast emblem. I got a good rant this week. I don't know if you and Eddie hit on it about the spotter for Martin Truex Jr.
No, I was actually pretty
asking,
positive about Truex this weekend.
asking David Reagan to move over.
Oh yeah, no, we did touch on that. Yeah, we did.
That's my rant, and I am gonna go pretty crazy on it. So, the taste of things to come. All right. Anybody in the chat?
All right, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Rolling intro.
All right, let's go.
Well, rolling intro here in a second. Rolling intro.
Turn the light on, ready to go.
If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 64 of the Loose Lugs podcast. I'm your host, AJ. With me as always, back from some dirt track Saturday night racing, Ryan. What's going on, Ryan?
What is going on, AJ? Man, how was your Memorial Day weekend? Listeners, hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. AJ, how was your Memorial Day weekend?
Not long enough, but a much needed 3 days off.
I hear the not long enough. I think it needs to go another 4 or 5 days. Quickly before we start tonight, dive into it. Don't mind my voice tonight. I got a little bit of a head cold going on right now. So
don't you dare pass it on to me. Don't you dare.
I'm trying not to. I get it from the wife. She's been coughing for the last, I would say, what would you say, about a week, honey? It's been about a week. So, but yeah, man, what a great Memorial Day. Like you said, AJ, wasn't long enough. Enjoyed some racing this weekend, all forms of it. So, AJ, what did you do, man?
Oh, geez, what did I do? I forget what I did Friday and Saturday. And, well, Monday I watched the Cup Final, Game 1.
Yeah.
What did I do Saturday? Saturday, watched AEW. AEW. I am all in. All Elite Wrestling. I'm in. Oh, dude, it was absolutely amazing. It's everything that the WWE has been lacking. So it was spot on. It was such a great show.
I've seen highlights of it. The tag match between the Young Bucks and Pentagon and Phoenix, I heard, was the match of the night. I heard Cody Dustin Rose was really good. Jericho Omega was good, and obviously the surprise at the end which was really good. But I heard the buy rates for it were through the roof, by the way. So I guess people want a new alternative form of wrestling, and they're getting it with AEW. I know we're probably going to order the next show because I think they're going to throw us Omega and Moxley.
Oh my God, John Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose, has been a hard
Mm-hmm.
habit to break this week.
That he has. What a podcast, by the way. The with a on what was it, Jericho's
Talk
podcast? I
is
know you.
Jericho. I actually
Yeah,
listened to that today. That was good.
yes,
Dale Jr. had Stone Cold Steve Austin on this week. That was
yes,
good.
it did. Yes, it was fantastic.
You learned, honestly, I was surprised how inside the business Stone Cold got on Junior's podcast.
Oh, I know. Well, Junior's a big fan too, so of
I didn't
wrestling, he's
know that.
always
I didn't know that beforehand.
uh-huh. Yeah, he was was a big wrestling fan. So, and obviously Stone Cold loves NASCAR. He's been he did a couple things for NBC. So,
Yeah,
but
that was a great show. Talk is
mhm,
Jericho was great. AEW, hands down, for me, 10 out of 10. Um,
good.
and it was 10 out of 10 for me because it reminded me a lot of what I loved about wrestling as a kid growing up. It had that perfect mix. You had some good matches, good entertaining spots happening in those matches. You even had a one promo in the middle of everything, or two, I could say, and it was just the perfect mix.
Yeah, that's what I like. I said, unfortunately, I missed it, but we're definitely gonna get the next one. They have it's coming up in I think August. They said.
Yeah, there's one in August. Then there's a couple like, I guess you call them sister shows where they're collaborating with a couple other promotions. Like
Yep.
next month in Daytona or Jacksonville, one of those two. I think actually one's in Jacksonville, and then the following month there's one in Daytona.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see right there. The one in Daytona.
You know what? Now that you mention it, I didn't think about this before. Haha, I
You
got some
you
ideas
you,
now.
you live in Florida.
That I do. I make that drive to Daytona once a year. Going to be twice a year
Yeah, yeah,
next year, and yeah, I might check that out.
yeah.
Um, so we had the Stanley Cup final begin.
Yes, we did.
Game was amazing, and game two I'd rather not talk about.
As a non-fan of either team, I think it's been a great series so far. I mean, St. Louis game one gets that 2-0 lead. Bam, Boston storms back, wins game one. Game two, it's like, okay, does St. Louis get it? Boston gets that early 1-0 lead. St. Louis comes back 30 seconds later, Boston, and then went to overtime. And great shot on a delayed call. I thought Boston may have touched the puck, but prior to the penalty being called, and then you look at the replay and they never touched it. And that was in the back of the net. And now we're tied at one, heading back to St. Louis.
Yeah, all I need the Boston to do is win the next three games, so this way they can lift the cup on Garden Ice, and I don't have to worry about a game seven.
Yep. But the NBA finals start tonight.
Yeah, Warriors in three.
Yeah, I say four. So
Well, no, I understand that. It's just honestly, I could pick
yeah,
Warriors in two here, and I think no one would argue
I
with it.
yeah, I don't think. I mean, yeah, Toronto's a great story. I think they're going to give them a couple games, but don't be surprised if it's double-digit wins.
Oh no, like I told you before the show started, I don't think there's going to be a single close game in this series.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. They start in Toronto. Toronto's going to be. I guess they're going crazy in the city of Toronto. Watching Pardon the Interruption today, and they're going crazy there. So
Yeah, that's nice. That'll be short lived.
yes, it will. But yeah, back to what happened on Saturday night. So Saturday morning we head up north, take Logan on his first car ride. Slept the entire time, by the way, which is pretty incredible. So drove up to Holton Lake, called my brother, and him and I went to the dirt track Saturday night. And man, oh man, what an experience! And I'm thinking here as I'm watching these guys go around. These are everyday guys that work a Monday through Friday, but work on their cars during the weekend and drive them, a couple times a weekend or a month. And I'm like, man, go out and support your local short track, dirt track, whatever it is, man. Uh, the ticket prices at Merritt Speedway weren't that bad. They had almost 150 cars on the property that evening, so the feature events didn't get going until almost 11 o'clock. We stayed for two of the features, and I'm like, yeah, I got to get back and help out with Logan. So we only stayed till about two of the features, but man, what an incredible evening! My brother's hooked on the dirt track. He's like, man, I wish I'd have gone more often. So, but yeah, what a great time again at the dirt track, man. If, like I said, man, go out, support your local short tracks, dirt tracks, drag strips, whatever types of form of racing you're in, and check them out. They're definitely worth it.
Yeah, you sent me the I think it was the soundbite
Yep, yeah,
of
yeah.
what was going on, but the problem, I didn't respond back to you, and I mentioned that to you. I was like, I'm sorry I never responded, because that was when the AEW show was on, and I was like that focused into it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I figured. It's like sometimes when I'm up there, like I get really good service at her parents' house because of the Wi-Fi, but apparently the dirt track had Wi-Fi, and I was connected to that, and I'm like, hey, I got service. But I got a bunch of videos. I'm gonna forward them to you later this evening after our show, and we'll get them posted onto the end of the Twitter page.
Yeah, was it a packed house?
Yeah, it was pretty full. It wasn't a sellout, but they always get they like I said, they run races every Friday and Saturday up there, but they filled the stands pretty good.
Nice, nice. Good to hear. Good to hear
Yeah,
local short tracks that are having good turnouts week in and
yep,
week out. That's what progresses the big page NASCAR, and stock car racing, dirt track racing. That's it, to me. I don't see the reason to argue about what's better, asphalt or dirt. Like, to me,
yeah.
it one supports the other.
And it's like the whole argument between Indy and NASCAR. What's a better form of racing? Well, if you like racing, I know there's people that, like we've said, I think we said last weekend, that are diehard IndyCar fans. They're diehard NASCAR fans. I like both forms of racing. I prefer NASCAR, but I will watch IndyCar. Speaking of which, they're in Detroit this weekend on Belle Isle for the
Are you
duel in
going?
Detroit. Unfortunately, I am not going. If anything, I would go tomorrow for the free day, but can't afford to miss any time from work. So,
There's also a free day tomorrow at Pocono. If you bring in a Monster Energy can, an empty Monster
oh
Energy
really?
can, you can get into, believe it's practice. Is qualifying tomorrow too? If qualifying's tomorrow
No,
too, it gets you
that's
into
just
that.
it's just
Um,
a practice tomorrow. I think qualifying Saturday this weekend, and then they have an ARCA race.
and then it gets you into the ARCA race too. So that it's hey,
That would be a
if
hell of a deal if you lived anywhere near Pocono.
if you can turn, say you take a family of four, if you spend $8, because I'm assuming Monster Energy cans, about $2. I don't drink energy drinks, so I couldn't tell you how much they cost.
I drink I drink Red Bull, so
But imagine $2 a can. For $8, you can get the family of
yeah.
four in for what would honestly cost you probably about $80 to get four in.
I think I think MIS the tickets for practice and qualifying 15 to 20. I think so.
Yeah, I was just averaging mine off of $20. I felt
Yeah,
like
I got you.
that
I
would be the
got you.
price for like the ARCA race or something like that.
Yep.
Um,
So yeah, but yeah, like I said, we dirt tracked it up Saturday night and had a blast. So
Sorry, I'm going on like a coughing tangent over here.
oh, hey, you're catching what I have.
You shut your mouth. So we had F1 on Sunday morning, early Sunday morning.
Yep, I missed the entire race, but I saw who won.
Yep. You saw who won.
I picked it.
Lewis Hamilton gives you the 5 extra points.
Yep.
I don't even know where Daniel Ricciardo finished. I didn't watch really any of it.
I watched. They were re-showing it the other night. I think it was Monday night. They were re-showing it, and during intermission. I watched it, and see, I don't mind the F1 cars. It's just I don't know. There's something about that.
Very
the
good,
former
Tony.
racing-
Guy with a hot wife won. Yep, that is
Yep,
for sure.
Hi, Logan. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, but the F1 race, Ryan, Lewis Hamilton late had to battle a tire issue, and I believe it was it Max Verstappen who was catching him. And
Something like that.
even Verstappen had some issues there that he couldn't get around, but no shock. Lewis Hamilton, what I call F1's version of Jimmy Johnson, gets the win at Monaco.
Oh yeah.
The yacht horns were blowing and such.
It's a great venue for a racetrack. There's no place to pass though.
No, there's really no room to pass, but it honestly makes for very entertaining racing.
Yes, it does. Like you said, the yacht going off, and the people in the balconies watching. That's a great seat right there on a balcony like that.
Yeah. I just F1 is not my cup of tea, just because every time it airs around here, it seems like it airs after the race already started.
Yep.
But at any rate, we had a race that I paid a little bit more closer attention to, IndyCar, Indy 500 on Sunday.
Don't get me started about my pick.
There was about 10 times during that race, because I cheer for Alexander Rossi, where I was like, yeah, and then I was like, oh, then I was like, yeah, and then and that was just in the final 3 laps.
It was before that when the fuel wasn't getting into the car, it wasn't connecting. He's all mad in the cockpit. He's slamming his hands, and then the lap down guy is getting in his way, as he's going to try to pass. But yeah, my pick, Colton Herta, he's driving. I'm like, oh, he's moving up, and all of a sudden, whoop, there he goes. The what was it? The gearbox. Yeah, the gearbox wouldn't shift into 6th gear and all that. And there goes his chance, and I'm like, that's why I don't pick IndyCar on the podcast.
What a battle, though, at the end there between Simon Pagenaud and Alexander Rossi. I was talking to Eddie. I was on Eddie Greer's show this week, going 3 wide with EG3, and we were talking about it a little bit, and I said, had it not been for Rossi's fueling issue on like the second to last pit stop, I really think Rossi runs away with that race.
I think so too, but give credit to where it's due. Pagenaud, Rossi got by him, but with 2 laps left, passed him back and never relinquished it.
You want to talk about a sport where it feels like with 2 to go and you're in the lead, you're a sitting duck? That is the sport. That track is that.
Especially at Indy. I mean, like, what was it, the Long Beach race where Rossi dominated? It's like, okay, well, no one's going to pass him. And then, but it's their draft how it works at Indy. Watch their race at Texas and Phoenix, how their draft works there.
Yeah, the only thing I'm just not a fan of push to pass. Push to pass kills it for me, just because it adds another strategical advantage to it. In which that reminds me, I want to talk about Danica Patrick and Dale Jr. on the commentary for it.
Yeah,
but it's just it takes away that aspect, that one driving aspect to me that IndyCar has.
Yeah, I've said it a couple times on there. It's like, let the drivers go out and let the cars be the cars, and let the drivers go out there and race. I hate this. It gives you an extra few seconds to pass. I'm like, no, let the drivers go out there and race.
Yeah. Real quick, Ryan, and this is a total side note. We're going to talk more Indy 500 here in a second, but
yeah.
Every week, if you're on the live stream, you see the little CL logo right below me every week. That's the car group, or I should say the car family I'm a part of. It's Careless941. Follow them on Instagram. You can see all the group's cars and all that. They're all in the chat right now, so I just want to say hey to all the fellas.
Oh, nice.
And we're growing. The first car show we ended up going to, we won best crew out of it all.
Very
So.
nice.
It's my closest friends. As I see Zach throws up the rock on emojis. Yeah, I can't thank those guys enough. They're always there for me when I need it. So just a little personal touch on the show this week. You see the CL down there, Careless. Go give them a follow on Instagram to check out the stuff we do. Anyway, moving back on to IndyCar.
Mm-hmm.
Rossi had a lot of issues with the lap traffic getting in front of him, to the point where Eddie and I were talking about this, where going 225 miles an hour down the straightaway, he has one hand on the steering wheel, one hand just pounding his fist in the air to the lap car that was in the way. That takes serious cojones.
Yes, it does.
that's a situation where you make one slip, it's going to be disastrous for everyone else behind you.
That it is, and like I said too, though, that Rossi was like agitated beyond belief. I wish there was a radioactive for that. Oh man,
Could you imagine?
that.
Could you
Oh,
imagine?
man.
You think Kyle Busch is bad on the radio? Wait till you hear
Oh,
that
yeah.
transcription.
Beep, 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 beep. Oh, well, it's silent for a minute.
So, basically, Ryan, out of F1 and Indy, what race for you was better this weekend?
Obviously, the Indy 500. Great battles all over the track. Couple accidents, nothing too serious.
The man Jim
I think it
Cornelison
was
singing.
Sebastian Bourdais was him, and I think it was Graham Rahal. Yeah, those two were angry at each other, and it made for an interesting weekend. And like I said, they got 2 races this weekend here on the streets of Detroit on Belle Isle. So it'll be a good weekend for the IndyCar boys. They definitely draw big here in Detroit. So.
And for those that don't understand, next year with the Pocono doubleheader happening, tune in this
What?
weekend to
NBC.
to the Detroit race for IndyCar. That's exactly what you're going to see next year.
I do believe 3:30 both days both on NBC. So if you guys see what Pocono's like, here it is. And like I said, Sarah and I looked into getting tickets to one of the races, but it was like where they, like the start finish line was, they almost wanted like $100. I'm like, oh, okay. And then general admission they got for like 40, I think, which isn't too bad.
Tony goes, I picked the hot wife for Belle Isle race. Oh my God.
All right. Nice.
Tony, if you want to get into some racing gambling, that's one way to go. That'd make it interesting for you. I know you're not too into, you're a casual NASCAR fan and not so much IndyCar. That'd be a good way for you to get into gambling for IndyCar.
Yeah.
So I mentioned earlier Ryan Dale Jr., Danica Patrick being on the
Peacock
broadcast. Yeah, the Peacock pit box. That's a mouthful to say.
Is that 10 times fast?
And I gotta say, for Dale Jr. not knowing much about IndyCar, not having, I shouldn't say not knowing too much, not having the experience in IndyCar, the man made for an entertaining broadcast. I was surprised by all he knew.
That he did. It was what was it? Him, Tirico, and Danica. And yeah,
could you imagine Steve Letarte there? That'd be even better.
Oh,
Replace Tirico with Steve Letarte.
Letarte was there throughout the entire week. He was there Friday for Carb Day. I think he stayed for the race, but they didn't have him on the broadcast. But Junior knew his stuff. That's for sure.
I was honestly surprised. It was.
He did a great job driving the pace car too, I must say.
It was pretty good. You know the rapper Tech 9?
I do believe so.
Apparently he committed suicide today.
Really?
Yeah, just got that notification.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, breaking news.
I didn't even know. That's not a good way. I just saw that like pop culture, something we're both into. So I didn't even know that. That rest in peace. So I know some people out there aren't too into rap music and all that, but I always enjoyed Tech 9.
Yeah, that's not my cup of tea, so.
No, I understand that. Ryan.
Yep.
Going along with our greatest weekend in racing, we had the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series in action this weekend. Why don't we get into it? Gas and go.
Let's go.
Gas and Go is the point of the show where we recap the race weekend. This weekend, both the Xfinity Series and the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series were in Charlotte. And on Saturday afternoon, Tyler Reddick dominates for his second win of 2019, leads 110 laps out of 200.
Go
ahead. And it just, that race was pretty cool in a sense of those cars were a handful for the Xfinity Series drivers this weekend.
Yes, it was. Not to mention the drivers only broadcast too, which was pretty fun to watch. And I had to watch the majority of it on my cell phone. And you're right about the Fox Sports app now. You had to download this other thing for it.
So stupid.
Yeah, you tell me about it, and I'm like,
the Fox Sports Go app is now useless.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like,
Tony,
I'm
hold on, but we got to cut in here. Tony in our chat, breaking news. It's not the Tech 9 we know. It was another Tech 9 from Philly.
oh wow.
Oh, well, all right.
Well,
I mean, well, that was a pointless part for us to say
yeah.
on the show.
But the drivers only. Yeah, pretty. I love how they had Bubba. What was it? Bubba, Eric Jones, and Ryan Blaney on the pits.
Chad Knaus, dude. Chad Knaus was awesome.
Yes, he was. Like I said, I watched a little bit of it. I missed the majority of the race because we were driving up north that day, and then did a lot of running around once we got there. But I saw who won, and Tyler Reddick, man, is going to be the next superstar in this sport, I do believe.
This is something we mentioned on the show a few weeks ago, Ryan. We said once Tyler Reddick gets that first win with RCR, he's going to be knocking them off. And that's what, 2 out of the last 3 races now Tyler Reddick's won for the Xfinity Series?
Been on a roll, too. So,
here it is. Here is what you saw last year from the championship winning driver, Tyler Reddick, coming in. You know, it's all coming around full circle now. That guy is one you're going to have to watch out for the rest of the season.
I do believe so. He's I'll pencil him in my top 4 for the final race of the year at Homestead.
Christopher Bell, these issues that he keeps having week in, week out. I know this weekend it was tire issues, which was the story of all JGR teams, both Xfinity and Cup Series. But Christopher Bell and Brandon Jones at the same time have a tire issue towards the end of stage 2, I believe.
Yeah, stage 2, yep.
And tell me if I'm wrong here, Ryan. Isn't that like 3 out of 5 races now Christopher Bell's had issues that has put him in the back of the pack for a final result?
Yeah, it has been, and it just can't catch a break right now.
I know Christopher Bell won just a couple weeks ago, but still, it's just seemed that's been the story of Christopher Bell this season.
I mentioned finishes last.
I mentioned it on Eddie's show. It's like that team's either really good off the truck and for the weekend, or they're really bad off the truck for the weekend.
Yeah, but he's still probably going to be in the one of the final 4, though. I mean,
no doubt, no doubt about that.
The team's too good. The team's too good, and for it not to be.
And then we talk about Brandon Jones, a driver who was up at the lead for a good part of this race, or a good chunk of this race, I should say. He also having tire issues. Like I said, same time. Were the tires bad this weekend?
It seemed like it, especially in the Cup race, which we're going to dive into a little bit later. I noticed this weekend too, for both races, a lot of cautions. You normally don't see that a lot at well, you do it sometimes at Charlotte, but not lately. And how many were there in the Xfinity race?
I just had the stats up for it because I was going to mention it, and then I apparently closed the window out that I had it in. But you mentioned all the wrecks that they had. It was something crazy this weekend. Even in the go ahead.
And it made for great racing.
Yeah, 10 cautions, 56 laps were ran under caution out of 200.
Yep.
So,
but still, it I think it was on Race Up. I think they have no, it's not Moody. They have Dave Moody on, and he even said it about the 600. These cautions made for an entertaining race. The late restarts, the restarts right before stage ends for the stage breaks, and I agree 110%. I thought that one of the 2 best races of the year was this weekend, both of them.
You know, our final restart came with 15 laps to go, and the battle between Justin Allgaier and Tyler Reddick was one of the better battles we've seen this season.
Yes, it was. And by the way, give credit to the fans in the stands. Hold on. Excuse me. The fans in the stands on Saturday, temps in the 90s, reading like almost 125 in the car. So, yeah, credit to the fans in the stands.
It's a hot one.
Yeah. And then, speaking of which, at the end of the race, the gentleman finished in 3rd, Jeffrey Earnhardt, my pick, by the way. He was treated for what was it, heat stroke, like dehydration. Like they had ambulances all lined up along pit road, and they brought the cars down single file instead of double file. So EMS could get to drivers that were suffering from dehydration. Austin Dillon had to get out of the car because the side of the seats were burning his rib cage so much.
Yeah. Jeffrey Earnhardt, great finish, like you said. Congratulations with that pick as well. It's another driver that we mentioned earlier this season that, just give him a chance. Give him a chance in a decent ride, and he'll show you what he can do. And he's done just that this season with just a few races under his belt now for Joe Gibbs Racing in their 18 car.
I think he'll get a full-time ride next year.
I hope so, because like I told you before the season started, that's a guy who needs an opportunity to show you what he can do behind the wheel. He's done just that. The heat in the cars, Ryan, they mentioned this on the broadcast of the Coke 600 on Sunday. Under caution, there's no airflow going through those cars. So that's just straight 125-degree heat that you're feeling, along with wearing a fire suit and a helmet and gloves on top of it. So
why do you think you see guys when they're driving around on caution have their the visors up on the helmets? They're trying to do anything, or the hands out the window, and then
did you see, was it Eric Almirola during the Cup race before the green flag was dropped through a water bottle on the track?
Yeah.
I think someone ran over it too.
Yeah, there's a caution.
Caution for the race even starts.
I know we're talking Xfinity, but Sunday during the 600, Regan Smith was going over a lot of the driver innovations now, what they're doing to keep the drivers cool with the water system that they have, where the guy has it through the helmet and it's like a big bag and everything like that. The bags of ice, obviously, which are still very popular to this day. I forgot who they were talking to. Said they didn't really. I think it was Boyer. Said he didn't like it because he was on part of the drivers only.
Well, he's an old school driver. He's an old school style type driver, so of course he's not gonna like it. I'd be surprised if Boyer even takes a sip of water during the race.
He probably does.
Well, it might be beer in there.
Oh, it could be. or whiskey.
He's a partier.
He probably it was his birthday too. I think it's today, or was it yesterday? One of the two.
It was, because I saw the picture that Brett Griffin put up with him and Clint Boyer. And funny.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Clint.
Your stage winners this one, Ryan. First stage, Christopher Bell. I'm about to say Ryan Bell. Don't know who Ryan Bell is, but I was about to say Ryan Bell. Second stage, Tyler Reddick. Third stage, race winner, Tyler Reddick. You know what's funny is normally I confuse Brandon Jones and Eric Jones, but this one I made up a totally new name.
Hey, maybe down the line, Christopher Bell's gonna have a kid named Ryan.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Your top five: Tyler Reddick, Justin Allgaier, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Noah Gragson, and Justin Haley. Your standings following Charlotte for the Xfinity Series: Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier, Austin Cindric, Michael Annett, Chase Briscoe, John Hunter Nemechek, Noah Gragson, Ryan Sieg, Justin Haley, and Brandon Jones. Got it right this week. Next race, Pocono this Saturday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern on FS1.
What is turn 4?
Who knows what turn 4 is? What turn 4?
Them Xfinity guys are going to put on a good show this weekend at Pocono.
That they will. That's always a good race. And another thing I said on Eddie's show, always got to watch out for the JRM cars here.
Yep.
This seems to be that track where they start to figure out everything that they've led up to this season and get their wins.
That they do. So, like I said, going to be a nice weekend this weekend. Hopefully the weather cooperates this weekend. It's Pocono Raceway, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I got the weather right now, so.
Are you ready to give your weather?
No, I'll do it in the next segment.
Oh, okay. Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, also from Charlotte, the Coke 600, the longest race of the NASCAR season. We're going to dive into that topic here in a second. But Martin Truex Jr. wins another Coca-Cola 600. It was absolute hell of a race. Not surprised that Martin Truex Jr. won, but how he won was awesome. 3 wide for the win. Took the pit stop. David Reagan, Ryan Newman taking 2 tires. David Reagan didn't stop at all. And it didn't come without some controversy.
Nope, not at all. And I'll dive into that a little bit later here in the show.
It must be killing you not to say anything.
It really is, but we have a special segment dedicated for this. Although I could do 2 rants tonight, so
I'm just gonna give you both rants in your rants segment then.
yep. So, but yeah, it was a great move he did. I thought Kyle was gonna get it, but his car was terrible all night long. Truex, after hitting the wall, give Cole Pern and the guys Martin credit where credit's due to bounce back after smacking the wall, while Eric Jones smacked the wall and was out of the race, and a couple others, De Benedetto, but credit where it's due to get the win.
No doubt, and the battle between Truex and Logano at the end, where I thought Logano was going to dump Truex going into turn
I
one.
I thought he was too, so
That would have made for an interesting finish. But
that it would have been very interesting.
Ryan, this race had a more prominent issue, and it was tires all race long.
So yeah,
Joe Gibbs Racing, especially with tire problems. You had Truex getting to the wall early, and then you had the whole deal with him and Bailey Curry, which, if you ask me, it's a racing deal with him and Bailey Curry.
yep,
You don't realize you're coming up on a car as fast as you are, and you get into that situation when you exit out of a corner. It happens.
yep,
It happens.
yes, it does.
But Truex rebounded from it, wins the race. But Joe Gibbs Racing tire problems. You mentioned with Eric Jones already. He was out of the race early. I think he finished dead last, to be honest with you. You had Denny Hamlin had problems.
Jones did finish dead last, by the way.
Okay, so you
And
had
Logan wasn't happy about that. So
you had Denny Hamlin with problems, and race winner Martin Truex Jr. had tire problems early too. But they still get the win as a team. So
yeah, like I said, hats off, to them guys that keeping a positive attitude. I know it probably wasn't, easy to do in a situation like that, but they stuck to their guns and they got to the win. A couple other notable guys that had problems. I said De Benedetto, Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson. That was the heavy hit for the 3 bunch.
that there's not many wrecks anymore. Another thing that I mentioned on Eddie's show this week. There's not many hits that I see anymore in NASCAR that take me back, or I could feel that one. No, I felt that one. That was a hard impact.
Yes, it was, and
including Denny Hamlin after the race, who got turned at the checkered flag.
yeah, that was another couple hard hits this weekend, and the guys got out and they walked away. It's the good thing with these safety issues with these cars now.
Thank God for safety barriers.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I thought Dylan was gonna get by. I'm like, nope, bam, right into that side panel, and there goes that.
Yeah. Brad Keselowski dominated early in this race and struggles late with a tire issue.
Yep. Tire issues are definitely key nowadays in the sport, and pit road penalties.
Yeah, pit road penalties again.
I didn't see how many there were this weekend.
I didn't check that either, but I do remember a couple drivers getting nailed for speeding on pit road. But
I know there was a couple lug nut violations too this weekend.
A couple sponsors.
Yep, a couple more shout outs. We thank everybody.
So I mentioned earlier before we started is that this was the longest race on the NASCAR schedule. Yep. Ryan, I'm going to ask you this.
I've been there.
I've been there too. And I remember it being very long.
I was there and we got to the track, I would say about 12 o'clock, I would say. Mm-hmm. And, nice, hot, humid day, walking around, everything like that. Gates finally open, walk around the track, got familiarized with it, everything like that. And the race started and it felt like it was over in a blink of an eye. I think it was just because we were there, but like the time leading up to it just felt long. But I would definitely go again in a heartbeat.
So I bring that up, Ryan, to ask you the question of, should this race be shorter?
No.
Ooh, we have differing opinions. I do think this race should be shorter.
Really?
I think I understand. Well, I understand why people want to keep it at a 600-mile race. It adds to the history, the tradition, being IndyCar and F1. They don't call it the World 600 for nothing, but man, it's too long of a race. This race started at 6:15, drop of the green flag, didn't end until 11:15. That is just too
Yep.
long.
Well, you gotta think too. You gotta think, dude, what they did at the end of stage 2. Which, by the way, huge thumbs up to Charlotte Motor Speedway and NASCAR.
But
for
you can
bringing
still
the
do it
car-
at the end of stage 2
Oh, I understand that,
if
but
you made it shorter. Make this a 400-mile race. That's just what I think. Make both races 400 milers.
I got the penalties right here. Joey Logano had a loose lug nut not properly installed. Todd Gordon was fined 10 grand. Stenhouse tire wheel, the lug not properly installed again. Brian Petty fined 10 grand. No penalties from the Xfinity series.
Well, thank you for the sponsors this week.
That's right, guys. Keep it going.
Last bullet point I want to hit on, Ryan. Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch get together at a track where they've gotten into each other once before. We mentioned last week on the show one of our favorite All-Star race moments. Mine was the Kurt and Kyle Busch back in 2007 2007 I think it was. And once again they get into each other. Spotter radios into Kyle saying, that doesn't see any damage on the car. Kyle chimes right back and says, I don't know what you're seeing because I can see right out the right side.
Yeah, no. And did you hear Radioactive this weekend, by the way?
Where Kyle Busch quit on radio?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kyle's not a happy camper. Adam Stevens is the great person to have on top of a pit box to keep that middle ground, because he has no problem telling Kyle Busch when to pipe down, but he knows also when to just hear him out.
He said it was a Sunday night, and he's like, yeah, we should be a top 2 car, but yet we're top 10. And Steven said something like, well, at least we're top 10. Just being a smart aleck to him. And I love that. And like you said, Steven's, man, I'd take him on a crew chief any day.
No kidding there. But yeah, Kyle just mad again, and even in the post-race interview gave us another still image of one of the Kyle Busch faces.
Oh, those are great. The best was still the Bristol Xfinity.
Oh yeah, the rolling of the eyes.
I tried to do it there. I couldn't do it though. But
go ahead.
I guess this is what happens when he's not winning. He's threatening to quit.
I mean, it's been a minute. I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well, what, Bristol was his last one?
I believe so.
But still, you've won 3 races this year. You're tied for the lead with wins. Him, Truex, and I think it's just those 2 guys with 3, if I'm not mistaken. And it just begs to differ why you're going to threaten to quit. Like I said, when you have all these wins this year, you're securely in the playoffs. You're not going to miss the playoffs by any stretch of the means. Granted, yeah, your cars have not been what they're not, what you're accustomed to. Deal with it. You think Jimmy Johnson and the Hendrick guys, minus Chase Elliott, were happy finishing up 15 on 20 on down?
I was happy with Chase finishing 4th.
Yeah, you were.
Just because I had made the comment to my girlfriend this weekend when the race was going on that Chase has a good car, he just doesn't have a good enough car. And then he took the lead for several laps there at the end, and I was like, well, apparently they did something to make it from good to great. So I was very happy with a 4th place finish.
Byron got a 9th place finish, Johnson 8th, Bowman 7th, all 400 cars top 10.
That's the first time in a long time.
Yes, it has. And they were mentioning it on the broadcast. Is Hendrick back? And I think it was Bobby Labonte, newly quite Hall of Famer Bobby Labonte. They did a lot of cool stuff for him this weekend, which was awesome. But he thinks they're back, and I gotta see more consistency. But I'm starting to get the feeling they're back.
They're starting to come to our side of the table.
Yes, yep. And by the way, hats off to Corey LaJoie, finished 12th.
Eddie, just let you know in the chat, Kozlowski also has 3 wins. What's going on, Eddie?
What's up, Eddie?
Um, you mentioned we're starting to go through the lineup. How about 12th place finishing Corey LaJoy?
I just said that.
Well, I'm continuing your point
Oh,
on that.
fine. All right, go ahead.
Corey LaJoy finishing 12th. Is that the best finish for Go Fast Racing?
I do believe so. And they didn't mention it. They mentioned it near the end of the race. They're like, how about Corey LaJoy 12th? I'm like, well, he was running top 15 almost all race.
I looked at, or I sent you the screenshot of the leaderboard after the race, and I said, Corey LaJoy finished 12th.
All right, here's who here's I'm gonna go through real quick some of the names he finished ahead of. Paul Menard, who's won a race. David Reagan, who's won a race. Newman, Hamlin, Suarez, Kozlowski, excuse me, Dillon, Boyer, Kurt Busch, obviously Larson, Dillon, and then the guys that wrecked out early.
Eric Jones.
But Eric Jones, all these guys. How about hats off to Corey LaJoy and his team.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Great finish for Corey LaJoy, Go Fast Racing. I met him last year at Daytona. Super awesome dude.
Yes, he is.
Your stage winners this, Ryan. First stage was taken by Brad Keselowski. Second stage as well, taken by the Blue Deuce. And then your race winner was Martin Truex Jr., Eddie's driver at that. Your top five following. What's that?
Stages 3 and 4 you won too, didn't it?
Or yeah, oh yeah. I guess I could say stages 3 and 4 too.
Come on.
I don't even think about that.
See, I like the fact that they added the 4 stages this race.
Ryan, something I didn't bring up during our review. How about Alex Bowman with another chance to take a stage win and it goes away?
Yeah, you know what? It's like when we were saying with Chase Elliott and with Tyler Reddick. Once that first win comes, they're going to pop off. As soon as he gets that first stage win, they're going to start popping off.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm trying to see back on here to make sure I got the stage winners right.
Yep. Yeah, I had heard something too about Bowman possibly being under the radar or under the gun, so to speak, because that car hasn't been living up to performance. Ever since that's happened, they had the off week and then the 3 straight finishes a second, and then this past weekend a 7th. So top 10 finishes, and he's 10th in points, right? And he's 10th in points.
He's come on strong, that's for sure, in these last couple races. Your top 5 following Charlotte: Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Your standings.
Good run for them.
Yeah.
The 17.
Yeah, great for him. Your standings following.
Oh.
You know I'm sour.
I know you are.
Your standings fall. I'm a fan too. I'm allowed to have drivers that I don't like.
I got a handful of drivers I don't like.
I gotta say that out of anyone, the only one that gets me mad is Stenhouse as a fan, and that's just because of what happened at the Coke Zero Sugar 400 last year. Solely based off of that, I'm still salty about that. Just because I thought Chase Elliott had the best car of that race and was taken out in a wreck by him. Could have saw the first win too.
That you could have.
But your standings following Charlotte: Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, Clint Boyer, Daniel Suarez, Eric Almirola, Jimmy Johnson, and William Byron. Rounds out your top 16 for the playoffs right now. Your next race is Pocono this Sunday, 2:00 p.m. Eastern on FS1.
Yeah, I think the races on Fox here on out are on FS1, if I'm not mistaken.
I know this weekend's on FS1, so.
I know next weekend's on FS1 too, so.
Gotta love it. Some people who don't have the FS1 channel can't be happy about this.
Yeah, some people last night didn't have NBCSN during the Stanley Cup game.
But don't worry, because you can download the Fox Sports Go app, and then it tell you to download the Fox Sports app too. So
you gotta download two apps in one just to get to watch a race.
Kiss my app.
Yep.
Ryan, what do you say we get into some tire rub? We just have a couple news points to hit on this week. What do you say?
And Ryan's weekly weather forecast.
Yes, sir.
Left side. Coolest left fender out, left side.
Tire Up's where we go over the news of the week, and kicking things off, NASCAR considering hybrid engines in the future.
Very, very interesting.
I'm not a fan of it. I understand
Not
that's
either.
where car manufacturers are going towards the hybrid motors and all that, but what would that mean for NASCAR? Like, one of the best experiences going to a race is the sound of the cars.
The sound. They're going to go by and go,
It's going to sound like they need to get back on their chargers.
yeah, no kidding.
How does that work for fueling, too?
That's a good question.
I mean, hybrids you can run on electric and gas, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's not going to happen for. It's not happening anytime in the near future, which to me is a plus. But I don't know. I say we stop with that idea right now.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
You mentioned the Xfinity Series recap, Ryan, that Austin Dillon got burned up. He suffered minor burns in Saturday's Xfinity race. Was treated, I believe, at the Infield Care Center, not at a local hospital, for his burns, which has to make Sunday suck.
Yeah, especially with it being like what they say it was like 96 when the race started, but by the time the race ended, it was down in the high 70s. So talk about a difference in temperature drop.
What I would do for high 70s right now.
What I would do without this rain right now.
Ratings are up 13% from 2018 for the Coke 600.
I think a lot of it had to do with the new rules package. I'm telling you what, all these people that were bashing the new rule package,
They've come around.
That they are, and I can't wait to see what this weekend brings at Pocono. They were talking possibly going 6 wide now because of the package and everything. We're in for a wild ride, I do believe, on Sunday at Pocono. I think you have yourself on mute.
I do have myself on mute.
That's why I said it. I'm like, I'm going to give it a minute. Oh, he's on mute again.
Yeah, thanks for giving me a minute. You could have
That's
like waved or something to the camera, let me know, but no.
Boy.
But no, I am interested to see how it works out at Pocono, just because this track is really one of the ones I was more interested in seeing this rules package ran at, because you have the 3 straightaways. So passes for the lead are going to be insane. You could have 8 wide on 1 straightaway.
Especially with the 3 different style turns too, Indy, Nazareth, and they'll tell us again. I forgot what they say the other term.
Oh, they'll beat that horse to death this weekend.
Oh yeah. Over under 5 times, by 6.
But yeah, ratings being up, and especially by that number of 13%, that is a large margin to go up by.
Yep.
I don't remember anything that was competing against the 2018 race last year, so it was a very good change of events for that.
Yep.
Ryan, you got the weather for us this weekend?
Yeah, tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be a high of 74, mostly Sunday. Sunday. Woo!
It's mostly going to be Sunday tomorrow.
Yeah, see, you know what? I'm doing a weatherman's job for him right now. Oh man! Saturday, first day of June, by the way. How about that? We're looks like a high of 77, a PM thunderstorm in the area. That's for Saturday. Sunday, showers and a heavier T-storm, 70 degrees.
So chances of racing on Sunday could be hindered, because for some reason, Pocono, when it rains, you get that fog that rolls in.
Yeah, ask Chris Buescher about that. So
no kidding.
And then if they have to wait till Monday to run it, depending on the weather, it'd be a high of 55.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. 70s to 55.
Well, it'll be an interesting weekend, to say the least.
Yes, it will. So hopefully they can dodge the weather and get all 400 miles in this weekend.
Do you have any other news points to hit on?
It
was a fairly quiet week, especially after the whole Hall of Fame announcing.
Earlier today on Facebook Live, the president of Michigan International Speedway was on answering some fan questions, showing us a new area they got set up right at the end of pit road. Nice deck, trailer or tent, everything like that. Set up breakfast, lunch. You get a snack and you got beverages. Like right at the end of pit road, they're looking right out. You're so close to the track, though. I think they're calling it their version of the paddock, and that's where the drivers' meeting is going to be. So if you get this package, you get to see the drivers' meeting as well.
Nice, very nice. Ryan, what do you say we get into some social media?
That's your time to talk. Go ahead.
Social media this week, we are up to 1,530 downloads on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher, 319 followers on Twitter, 73 likes on Facebook, 25 subscribers on YouTube. New follower shoutouts. Ryan, this is a cool one because being a Bruins fan, you might know who this guy is. Chief Wanna Make 'Em Cheer, who won the 98.5, the station I listened to out of Boston, their Bruins Superfan contest, and got to go to Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Wears a headdress, has the Indian style Native American war paint on his face, and has I guess you call it a cape with it.
Good.
But awesome. He's at Bugsy Foo on Twitter. Racing Roundtable at Racing RT1 and ER at Erica X NIC. Podcast shoutouts this week: Lap Traffic Podcast, PTM Racing Podcast, Going 3 Wide with EG3 Podcast, and little special announcement here on that one. Eddie Greer coming back on the show, post Darlington show. I thought you were going to say something. You were looking at this.
No, I can't wait to have Eddie back on the show. It's going to be another great episode with EG3, man. So definitely looking forward to that. After the Crown Jewel Southern 500.
I should say that when I was on a show this week, he kind of just he told me he was coming on for that post show, so I didn't really have an option on this one. But no, glad to have EG3 back. Awesome to have him on the show. We had a blast a couple weeks ago, and it was a great time on his show this week. So make sure you check out that show this week if you want to hear me on his show. We have the My Opinion Therefore Fact podcast, Side Draft podcast, the All Turns No Breaks podcast, and the Final Lap Weekly. Places you can find us on Podbean, iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube by searching in your search bar, the Loose Lugs podcast. Make sure you subscribe, follow, turn on that notification bell so this way you get notified every time we upload new content, and so you can hear that notification bell ding. Ryan?
Ding, 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 ding.
That was like the Price is Right ding right there.
Yeah, it could have been, yeah. Or the...
On Twitter, we are at Lugs Podcast. You can tweet us about the show using the hashtag LugsPod. And on Facebook, we are the Loose Lugs Podcast. Our personal accounts, myself on Twitter at Grey Goose F150, and Ryan?
Arren Cola 88.
Ryan, it is your point in the show to talk. You've got a pretty good rant planned out this week, along with the second rant this week. What do you have for us?
All right, first of all, guys, again, hope everybody had a fantastic Memorial Day weekend, family, friends, barbecuing, all the good stuff. There came a point during Sunday's Coca-Cola 600 where David Reagan does not pit during the end.
Can I cut it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just fair warning, Eddie. You're not going to like this rant, I don't think.
I was getting ready to say that. I was getting ready to say that.
All right, I'll shut up now.
Okay, but there comes a point before the final restart. Everybody's coming into pit. Excuse me. Reagan stays out. Newman 2 tires. Truex third, second out. The spotter goes down to David Reagan's spotter and asks him, "Are you going to move to the back?" With what was it, less than 5 laps to go? AJ, don't quote me on that, but
yeah,
how many laps?
It was 10 or 5. It was one of the two.
Something like that. So the spotter for Truex asked Reagan if he's going to go to the back. Reagan gets over the rail and he's like, "You tell him I'm not moving. I'm out here to win this race." As a driver, that is what he's paid to do, is go out and win the race. This is not, oh, I'm going to pull over because Martin Truex Jr. or Kyle Busch or Jimmy Johnson or a higher up team is saying, you have to get out of my way. No, it's racing. Go out there and earn it. And guess what? Martin Truex did that. He went out there and he earned that win. But for the spotter of Martin Truex Jr. to go to another spotter and ask his driver to move is absolutely 110% ridiculous. Go out there and earn it like you did. This is no hand-me-downs. And sorry about the EG3. It's something that really grinded my gears right there.
Oh, man. That was good. That was a good one. And what was your second rant, Ryan?
I was just about the 600. So, but I think it should still be the 600, but there's people saying it shouldn't. So,
yeah, I'm one of those people.
I've already said it. Of the 500 miles on a mile and a half track need to go away, except for the 600 and the Southern 500.
I just think the 600 is way too long of a race.
I enjoyed it. I think it was the second or third best race of the year. I think Talladega, Kansas, Charlotte in that particular order.
Well, Eddie said he's with you there. I don't know if he's talking about the 600 or the Martin Truex comment.
Oh, see?
We'll have to find out on that one.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah, let us know, Eddie.
What do you say we got the white flag, Ryan? We got some predictions to do.
Yeah, let's go.
Tight, keep working the mirrors. In line with you, coming to the white. Only two.
First off, I want to say that was a good rant this week, Ryan. White
Thank
flag.
you very much.
It's a segment on the show where we go over our predictions for the race weekend. This weekend we are in Pocono, and Ryan gets 6 huge points last week with Lewis Hamilton winning, getting 5, and then the Xfinity Series winning with Jeffrey Earnhardt. Ryan, you now lead the season at a score of 24-16, so I'm going to have to mount a hell of a comeback, hoping to start that this week. Ryan, you get to go first this week.
First of all, real quickly, like I said, I was watching the Facebook Live with MIS president on there. A fan asked if they're going to do anything special for Darrell Waltrip, and he's like, come on out and see. So it sounds like MIS has something special planned for DW, which is awesome to see. First of all, my pick this weekend for the Xfinity, give me Austin Cindric.
Good pick.
Thank you.
I'm going with the 7 of Justin Allgaier. I said it earlier in the show that this is where Junior Motorsports really starts to get on fire. On Eddie's show earlier this week, I said that I pick all 3 Junior Motorsports drivers, but just for the fact that we can only pick one on this show, I'm going to go with the 7. Ryan, in the Cup Series, who do you got?
Real quick, Eddie's like, that was towards MTJ, aka Clayton Hughes. So, all right, good. Yeah. Why? Anyways, give me the 4 of Kevin Harvick, and then my dark horse will be Alex Bowman.
Good pick. I'm going with 2 heavy hitters this weekend. It seems at Pocono. I'm going with the 1 of Kurt Busch.
All right.
And I'm going with my sleeper, the 12 of Ryan Blaney.
Got his first win there.
Yep, I'm going with 2 guys who scored huge wins back in 2014 and 2015 there. So, hoping Lady Luck's on my side this weekend.
Yeah, Harvick seems to run good there. Kyle Busch runs good there, obviously. Going to be a good weekend.
You know, I'm thinking here, if I can sweep this weekend where my sleeper gets the win and Kurt Busch finishes in front of Kevin Harvick, the score would be 24-23.
Yep, but I think Harvick's gonna get it done this weekend. They looked good last week at Charlotte. Pit crew looked pretty good, so I think he's gonna get it done.
I'm right there with you. It's gonna be a fun race weekend, I believe.
Yeah, gonna be definitely a one to remember, especially with the rules package. So,
well, Ryan, I just did the paper toss.
Oh, you did? You did the ATH paper toss. All right.
Yes, sir. Hit him with
it. Yeah, I'm going to, guys. Like I said, it's Thursday. It's a short week. We're racing tomorrow. Guys, we'll see you guys at the track.
Next show might be again on next Thursday, just because of the whole Stanley Cup final deal. But Other than that, hope everyone enjoyed their Memorial Day weekend. Thank you for coming out and tuning into our program tonight. Thanks to Patrick, Michael, Tony, Nick, Zach, and Eddie for stopping by in our chat and talking some racing with us. Thank you for everyone who tuned in tonight, like I said already, even if you didn't comment in our comment section. Where are we at here? Don't forget, if you download this podcast on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher, thank you for doing so. We appreciate every one of you. After this show tonight, we're doing the redraw for the giveaway because I forgot to do that last week.
By the way, Eddie got a pick in. He picked Bowman and Suarez as his dark horse.
Good picks. Good picks. I like those.
Yes.
Well, with that being said, Ryan, we'll see you all next week. We're out.
You can wipe